Good afternoon. My name is Matt Despard. I'm Vice President for Research and Policy with SaverLife, and the guy that has not quite yet lost his voice. So we're talking about the importance of employer benefits on this panel, and why are we choosing this topic? Why is this important to discuss? So employment is the way that a lot of households, most households in the U.S., gain access to important benefits. And benefits are 31% of total compensation and have a lot to do with families' financial resilience through benefits such as retirement plans, health insurance, and disability insurance. Now, there are also some newer generation benefits that focus specifically on financial wellness. So financial counseling and coaching and emergency savings programs, for example. So it's important to pay attention to a range of different benefits and what employers can do through those benefits to build the financial resilience of their employers. So some recent statistics on benefits in the workplace show that lower wage workers are at a particular disadvantage. They have, and this includes part-time workers, as you would expect, have far less access to a range of important benefits than higher wage workers. So what that tells us is that benefits through the workplace are not a given. They are discretionary. Employers can choose to offer them or not. And even if they are offered, not all employees will enroll in them. And the benefits that an employee may receive may just be one or two of these benefits, or it may be a full package. So there's a lot of variation in whether employers offer them, and then with respect to whether employees have access to them. So to help break down these issues and focus the conversation on what employers can't do to help bolster financial resilience among their employees, I'm joined by Lisa Margeson, who's Managing Director for Retirement Research and Insights with Bank of America, and Justin Taylor, to her left and your right, who is Stakeholder Engagement Manager with Goodwill Industries, the Southern Piedmont. And next to me is Renee Metzler, with Vice President of Total Rewards and HR Operations with Duke Energy. So very happy to have this panel here. I do research on this sort of stuff, but they can tell you a lot more because they're working on the ground in helping employees with their financial resilience. So, Lisa, let's start with you. Now, the pandemic and its impact on mental health and household finances has brought renewed attention among employers to employee benefits and this larger concept of financial wellness. Lisa, Bank of America has conducted an annual workplace survey of employees that I cited in my earlier breakout session in employers for the past 13 years. I was wondering if you can tell us how concerns about the financial challenges facing employees have shown up in your findings, including the most recent edition of the survey that you released this past fall.
Great, thanks Matt, and happy to be with all of you. Yes, we've been doing this workplace benefits report every year for the last 13 years. And the most recent one obviously was last year. It was great to see actually that employers continue to feel a level of responsibility for their employees' financial wellness. In fact, when we did the 2023 report, 96% of the employers that we talked to, so if you think about it, that's almost every employer that we spoke with, felt that they were responsible to some degree for their employees' financial wellness. What is also good to see, although it would be nice if we saw slightly higher metrics, is 2 and 3 said they also feel some responsibility for their employees' physical and emotional wellness as well. So this notion of those 3 components of holistic wellness is something we talk with employers about a lot, because those 3 dimensions of being well, financial, physical, and emotional, really all play an important part. So it's getting more and more important in the conversations that employers have and think about as they build their package of benefits for their employees. So this is a report where we talk to we survey employees and we survey employers. And we do that with a lot of our research, because what's really interesting is when you ask the same question and you see the gap. And that's really where we need to focus. So what we heard from employees was that last year their feelings of financial wellness, so feeling good or excellent about their financial health, hit an all-time low, 42%. It had not been that low in any of the past reports. The good news is that we did a pulse report 6 months later just to check in with them last year, and they were feeling better about their financial wellness. It went up by 5 points. So from 42 to 47, feeling good about their financial wellness. Still not high enough, but at least it was ticking back up. We are, because it's annual, we obviously are releasing one in 2024, and we just got some of the results back. So it's not ready for distribution, but a couple hot off the press numbers. 28%, so this would be surveyed in January, last month, 28% said that they're feeling better about their financial wellness compared to 6 months ago, so last year. So ticking up, would be nice to see that number a little higher, but at least you've got, between 1 and 4 and 1 and 3 feeling better already than 6 months ago. So what we need to be cautious about is the gender difference there. Last month, when we asked that question, there actually was, about financial wellness, there actually was a 17-point difference, men feeling more financially well than women. So that's something we always look at the data by gender, by ethnicity, by age. So there's a couple of different D&I perspectives that are important for us to understand so that we can help our employers build the right programs and education and resources, bring that intelligence to them so that they can be doing the right thing for their employees. Over the last year, many felt the pressure of the economic uncertainty. 3 and 4 last year told us that cost of living was outpacing their growth in pay. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. The challenge there is, what are their priorities? Planning for retirement has remained a constant number 1 of the 13 or 14 we give them. Last year, though, some of the short-term priorities elevated really close to following planning for long-term retirement. Long-term retirement planning was still an important goal, but bubbling up to the top was paying off credit card debt and building savings for an emergency expense. I want to spend just a minute on caregiving. Caregiving is a really important topic when it comes to workplace benefits and understanding the challenges of employees. Everyone will be impacted by caregiving at some point. They'll either be a caregiver, need a caregiver, or know someone who is caregiving. It is one of those taboo subjects at work that we need to get more out in the open so that employers and service providers can provide support and services for those individuals who are in some capacity dealing with caregiving. Some of the stats. When we asked employers how many of their employees were caregivers, they said maybe about a third. When we asked employees, almost 6 in 10 said, yes, I'm a caregiver. And in this last study we just did, where we got some of the results back in January, it's confirmed. I mean, it is a taboo subject. Not everyone is comfortable saying they're a caregiver at work because they feel they'll be treated differently. Only half of the caregivers said they felt comfortable identifying as caregivers. And when we looked at the level of financial wellness and their feeling of financial wellness, caregivers scored considerably lower compared to the broader employee base. So all that said, people are resilient. Looking ahead, more than half are cautiously optimistic of their levels of financial wellness in the next 2 to 3 years. So struggling, getting better, optimistic for the future.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot that employers could potentially do with employees who are facing a wide range of challenges, especially if they're in caregiving roles. Mm-hmm. It's important not to forget that our financial well-being intersect quite a lot with our family situation, mm-hmm. our responsibilities for caring for one another. Mm-hmm. So thinking about shifting the conversation a bit to what employers could do, Renee, I'd like to bring you in. And I understand that Duke Energy prioritizes employee financial wellness, but that wasn't always the case. What changed for you all?
Yeah, that's right, Matt. Thanks. I'm happy to be here and happy to be able to share some of what we've been able to do at Duke Energy just to promote financial wellness with our employees. So at Duke Energy, we've had a long-standing wellness program that does a great job of promoting a healthy lifestyle for employees. About 5 years ago, though, we started hearing a lot in the news media about student loan debt and how impactful that could be to a household. So we didn't know if that was something that impacted our employees. We have a variety of jobs at Duke Energy. A lot of them are highly technical jobs that require education and training that might not follow a typical or a traditional degree program. So we didn't know if student debt was an issue for our employees, but we did know that there were a lot of other financial stressors out there that could be an issue for employees. So we wanted to find out more. So what we did is we partnered with a leading consumer credit firm or company, as well as a leading benefits consulting firm, to conduct a study that gave us aggregate data on where our employees were seeing financial stress. We also conducted employee focus groups, which were helpful because that gave us information directly from our employees. So you'll see on the screen that we learned a lot from this study. We found that 12% of our employees were had subprime or lower credit scores. 40% of our employees had moderate to severe financial stress. 18% of our employees had student loans, but about a third of those were parents. So those were parents who had student loans on behalf of their children. And then about a third of our workforce was not on track to be able to retire until after age 65. And then some of our biggest aha moments were around just the correlation we found with employees who had higher financial stress, also had higher medical claims costs, and they had higher safety incidents. So those were stats and correlations that were a little surprising to us. And we saw financial stressors in several different areas. So we also found from this study that there was a stronger correlation between age and financial stress than between income and financial stress. We found that our population that had the highest level of financial stress were our employees in their 40s, which are kind of like the family building stage of life. Those employees had the highest level of financial stress. So this data was very informative. We used it to really build a business case around doing more for our employees around financial wellness. So we rolled out a financial coaching program to employees that was free to employees, and it gave employees the opportunity to really engage with an experienced financial coach to talk about any financial topic that involved a dollar sign. So it was about a lot more than just how to save for retirement or how to invest your 401k. If they needed help with budgeting, with debt management, with student loans, with saving for retirement, anything that was really could be a financial stressor for them, they could engage with a financial coach free of charge. So, to make sure that employees knew about this benefit, we really engaged in a pretty comprehensive communication strategy. We put together communications, written communications. We had an on-site kickoff session that happened to be about a month before everyone went home for COVID. So that was in 2020. And then we also used a dedicated portal page as well as our internal network of HR business partners to help us get the word out. So beyond coaching, we began offering financial webinars to employees to really focus on topics that were of importance to them and that they were struggling with. So these were really topics that mattered to employees, so we saw strong participation in those. And then we also rolled out some communication campaigns around different topics, such as the importance of saving in your 401k, the importance of investing your health savings account so that you could use that as an additional retirement savings plan, and also emergency savings. So we continued to promote employee wellness programs with our employees because we just know how important that is. So initially, we did not incentivize these programs for employees. We rolled them out. We did a heavy communications campaign, but we didn't provide an incentive for employees to participate. But we had found with other wellness activities that incentives are a great way to get employees, to get the word out and to really get employees engaged. So we already had a points-based wellness program in place around physical wellness activities. So we decided to reward financial activities through this same program. And the strategy worked because once we started rewarding financial coaching, we saw an increase of 200% in financial coaching appointments. And then we also saw stronger participation in our financial webinars. And the impacts we've seen for our financial coaching services, we've consistently seen high satisfaction scores, above 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. And you can see on the screen our scores from 2023. So employees that are engaging with the service are finding it beneficial and really seeing good outcomes. We also, when we did a campaign around investing your HSA, we had almost double the employees start investing their HSA. And then last year we conducted a campaign to promote or to encourage employees to increase their 401k savings. And we saw 25% of our employees increase their contributions.
Those are really impressive results. And I'm a particular fan, of financial coaching because of its flexibility in helping employees address a wide range of goals and challenges they may be facing. So I want to turn now to the audience, knowing that employers like Duke Energy can do something to impact employees' financial well-being. We want to put out a poll to get your reactions about how widespread these types of benefits are. Does your employer offer benefits that help with the things like Renee was just describing, such as budgeting, debt repayment, saving for retirement? So your choices are yes, no, I'm not sure, or I'm not working. And I believe you all have instructions through the app about how to respond to this live poll. Okay, so it looks pretty clearly that most of your employers do not offer these types of benefits. A little under a third do, so that's good news. But clearly there's room for growth. So let's bring up the next question. If you have access to benefits like these now, or you used to, have you used them or did you use them when they were offered? Okay, so about half of you are using or have used these types of benefits through the workplace. That's good to see. And it is important, as Duke Energy, as you all did, Renee, to think carefully about ways to encourage take-up of these benefits, such as offering incentives and other ways to promote engagement. So, Justin, now I want to turn to you and switch gears a bit to think about some very specific financial challenges facing lower wage workers. And Goodwill of the Southern Piedmont is part of a coalition that includes the Federal Reserve Bank and some major Charlotte employers around the issue of benefits cliffs, which are gaining a lot of attention. Can you walk us through what are benefits cliffs and how do they impact the financial well-being of households?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. So Goodwill Industries of Southern Piedmont, we're based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and serve about 13 counties in North Carolina, 5 in South Carolina. So this is something that's very near and dear to our hearts, our president and CEO's hearts, really as an organization that is about workforce development, career advancement, and providing skills training for people to be successful in their career path. So just to level set, when workers are facing a benefits cliff is when they receive public benefits from the government, they earn a raise, and then discover that they're actually making too much money to receive those benefits. What is inadvertently happening is that they're making too much money to sustain themselves and their household, and what it causes for workers to either decline job offers, quit, choose not to apply for other jobs that may have a greater pay increase or that could really trigger benefits cliffs. So what it does, it actually undermines economic mobility and also businesses' ability to retain and attract and hire talent. Working parents really cannot afford some of the basic benefits or those necessities such as food or childcare or housing due to these pay increases, but it inadvertently keeps people in a cycle of poverty, keeps them trapped. But really what Goodwill is really focusing on is how do we let our employers know that these are some challenges that are facing some of your employees and what they can do to be a part of those solutions.
Can you tell us, can you tell us a little bit about what you all are doing through the coalition?
Yeah.
How employers are getting engaged, and what are you all learning so far?
Yeah, so there are multiple ways that we've been really activating along this work. Is that one of the big things is that Goodwill is part of one of 4 employers that is a part of a pilot utilizing a cliff tool developed by the Federal Reserve Bank really to analyze the financial implications for raising wages and how to come up with some more innovative solutions to lessen the impacts of the benefits cliff. And really, this is really designed to make sure that employees and employers are talking, they get to know each other, they are contributing to both economic growth and the mobility for workers who are receiving public benefits. So in addition to that, we are looking to raise awareness to benefits cliffs to senior leaders, board members, how to educate people managers around the impacts of benefits cliffs and how they impact their workers that they are leading, and then also to inform our policy and advocacy solutions around system change. So some of the ways that Goodwill has initiated this tool is through a program that we have internally called our Pathways program, similar to what was Lisa and Renee was talking about around internal employee benefits. This is a program that is designed to apply the same career coaching techniques that we utilize for folks in our community internally to make sure that our team members are reaching their goals, they're reaching their dreams and aspirations. So all of our career navigators been working. So we started this pilot back in April of last year. We have about 120 team members who are engaged through this pilot and utilizing this tool. So we were able to train our career navigators on how to use the tool effectively. What is it is needed to make sure that they're part of their use a part of their coaching models. What we're encouraging them to do is engage in thoughtful conversations and discussions around finances, understanding the tool benefits and the potential impacts for benefit reductions, including getting a better understanding of like the public system complexity. So ultimately, it's really aiding in our team members' ability in decision making around their careers and finances. Some of the feedback that we've had through this program and this pilot program has shared that from our team members is that it's been a valuable tool for plotting their future financial projections, helps with financial planning, family expansion, and then looking at career paths that they may be looking to explore later on. One of the things that's been really exciting to hear is that despite the potential loss of benefits through the use of the tool, because it gives a map and it showcases at what point where benefits may be lost, it does not deter our team members from taking on those increase in pay, that new job, that promotion. But what it helps them do is give them a better insight around how do I better plan for that, for those financial pitfalls? How do I plan for those benefits cliffs, knowing that eventually I get to this point that I'm going to lose benefits? Another thing that we also been learning is that it's been showcasing what benefits are available for employees to take advantage of. So I think that was something that was a very aha moment that we didn't think about, is that some folks may not know that they're able to they should be getting more on SNAP or TANF or with child care subsidies, and it allows them to save currently and just be more financially savvy and smart.
That's great. That's great, Justin. I appreciate you letting us know about what's happening in Charlotte and educating us about that topic. I understand you have resources on your website.
Yep.
And can you tell us a little bit about those resources and ways in which employers, human service organizations, even workers can put that into action?
Yeah, so Goodwill, we lead our Benefits Cliff Community Lab coalition, really aim at changing the narratives and providing solutions for workers and their families. One of our projects was to develop a microsite. So as we were doing our work, we know that sometimes we are inadvertently put ourselves in silos, that we want to create a place where folks can get their information, provide those resources, provide evidence-based practices, what is already happening in the community that we can take advantage of and share within North Carolina. So I think there's a lot of policies addressing around the benefits cliffs that are happening. So I think for us, we really want to make sure that we're not recreating the wheel. There are some things that can be worked into our current climate, into North Carolina. And then also there's a catalog of solutions for employers, nonprofits, human service agencies, advocates, that are things that they can take advantage of. Some things they may think they have not thought about when it comes to childcare or how to address transportation issues or food issues. Some of these solutions are at no cost. And then also there's some solutions that require some additional financial investment, depending on that organization's capacity. But one of the things that we like to do is encourage partnerships, especially with employers, with their local nonprofits. So some great examples of where we've been able to connect with some of our, one of our partners, Atrium Health, connecting with a nonprofit that we work with called Commonwealth Charlotte, which focuses on financial literacy. They're actually able to utilize the staff members from Commonwealth to help be a part of Atrium's part of their career coaching and financial literacy program. Another good example of some good partnerships that we have done is working with Mecklenburg County to actually reutilize $10.5 million ARPA dollars to develop a child care subsidy program that is helping provide child care subsidies for about 700 families in Mecklenburg County. When we were able to actually have our halfway year report last year, we learned that about 500 of those 700 families would not have access to that child care subsidy if it was not for us just thinking about those creative solutions and how government how government as well as nonprofits can come up with some creative solutions to address this issue.
So the solutions are out there. There are obviously things that employers can do, as Renee and Justin were describing, and Lisa, in terms of starting just by taking a read on what employees are dealing with, what their goals are. So there's a lot we can do. Yet only 2 out of 5 employers offer these types of benefits. So we have a take-up problem. We have a take-up problem among employers, but we also have a take-up problem among employees. So even when those benefits are offered, take-up can be kind of low among employees. So I want to turn to the whole panel now and hear your ideas about both of those issues of take-up, employers and employees. What can we do?
Well, do you want to go, Lisa?
Yeah, so I would say if I had to boil it down to one thing is really commit to ensuring, so I'm talking to employers, really commit to ensuring that you are supporting and understanding all your employees. And that's not just communicating, which kind of feels one way, but really connecting with them, asking them what would make their work life easier, what employers can do for their employees to help those that are suffering in silence, which means don't avoid the taboo subjects. Employers need to be brave enough to bring conversations to the workplace with their employees around topics like caregiving, menopause, mental health. So situations where some of their employees truly are suffering in silence, impacting their work life and impacting just working every day. So have those conversations. Don't be afraid of the taboo subjects. Don't be afraid of the tough conversations. Ask employees what they want, and employees hopefully are brave enough to speak up. And if they need to lead some of that conversation, do that, because it really is beneficial for both employees and employers.
Yeah, I think kind of just piggybacking off what Lisa said, that I think sometimes there's there's not a lot of trust between employees versus employers. So I think once you bridge the gap between that, then we can really get the understanding of like how are your employees are affected by, you know, some of the, specifically when we're talking about benefits cliffs, how they may be affected by that. So I think there's opportunities for us to, number one, how do we make sure that senior leaders, your board staff members, and also your people managers are aware that these are challenges that may be impacting the people that they are leading, and arming them with the tools and resources to make sure that they're able to provide more support for them. So I think there's opportunities really with how do we encourage those people managers, those middle managers with more resources to engage those conversations, because most likely those employees are more likely to talk and address those issues with them versus someone at the top.
And I'll just add to that, employers really can start promoting financial wellness even if they don't have a big budget. So you can reach out to your 401k or 403b administrator. They often have online tools, webinars, communication campaigns that you can use at low or no cost to really promote financial wellness and offer tools to your employees. And make sure that employees know that these programs are not just for top earners. They're meaningful for employees at any level, regardless of where they are and what financial stressors they have in their life. And then I would just encourage you, make it easy for employees to find the information, have a dedicated portal page or central location with the tools, with the educational materials, make it easy for them to access and utilize the tools that you have. And then one thing we do at Duke Energy is we use multiple and redundant channels of communication. So we have a lot of employees that don't sit at a desk all day. So just communicating something via email only doesn't work for all of our employees. So we utilize, home mailers. We utilize posters in the workplace. We utilize emails, portals. So just, whatever works best for your population, but just, make sure you're getting that message out there in multiple ways. And then, if you can incentivize your financial activities or financial offerings, I would encourage you to do that. That does get attention, and it does will improve your engagement. And then one thing we also do is we try to use employee testimonials. So if you have employees that have had success using one of your financial wellness programs or tools, employees listen to what other employees tell them. So use that to your, as just a way to promote what you're offering to get higher levels of engagement.
Hey, Matt, can I add one thing?
Please.
So write this down. You can start using it tomorrow. It's free. Renee, you just said something that reminded me of this tool. It's an online resource, bettermoneyhabits.com. Don't need to be a client of Bank of America. Anyone can use it, bettermoneyhabits.com. And it offers resources and tools and articles and videos, education that we all talked about up here, from just basic budgeting to investing to a lot of other topics that can help. Share it with your employees and your colleagues. Free, great resource.
It seems like that's a good way to start with employees, is maybe not, hey, let's ask employees, how many of you all are struggling financially? No, turn it around more positively and say, hey, here are some resources that you might be interested in. We care about you. We care about all aspects of your well-being. So you can start simply by acknowledging that they may need or may want to tap into some resources that perhaps they haven't thought of, including existing resources like their retirement plan services. Is there anything you all would say, hot button issues, we must-haves in closing, that you would advise for the audience? Anything you absolutely must do or avoid in taking this step with employees? So last chance.
Yeah, I think, so in my work, really focusing specifically around the benefit cliff, it's a lot of advocacy. So there needs to be some change in the structural system around how benefits are administered. I also think that benefits around like healthcare, childcare should not be tied to an employer. They should be, as an employer, those are nice added values, but I think once you lose your job, sometimes those benefits will go away when it comes to healthcare and stuff. But I think in the meantime, employers like Bank of America, like Duke Energy, are creating some great systems that can be great models for what government can do. So I think there's opportunities for some collective advocacy work between these entities.
Lisa?
And
Renee?
I would just say, meet them where they are. Meet your employees where they are. Don't assume they're going to come to you. You need to reach out to them and just have conversations, sometimes difficult conversations, but just understand where they are and what they need.
Any final
I don't
words?
have anything to add. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing your insights today. Great to get a real range of perspectives from different employers about ways in which collectively we can enter this space more fervently in the workplace. Wonderful examples. Thank you all so much for your time today.